Gonna go live. Oh, look. We
Yay!
are live. Yay!
Yay!
Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, this is Bernie Rao, director of Killer Sofa, and you're watching the Howl Light Network.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, what's that? We got him the other night. That's so exciting. All right. So, hey, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Tomb of the Terrible here on the Hour Light Network. We're missing a few folks tonight. We have some stuff going on. So you get us. Hey, Tom Dog. Hi. But yeah, we are here because we watched the thoroughly, absolutely awful movie, Mandy, the Haunted Doll. First of all, that is not Mandy, but it is some, nice generic artwork that you get when you go looking for haunted dolls. So we're gonna just check around real quick, say hi to everybody. I'm still dealing with a concussion, so my hair is not going up because it hurts, and I am not drinking, and neither is Ratatosker because he's my support squirrel right now. So yeah, Friday in Chaos. How are you guys doing this week?
Good.
Good.
I have that.
Oh, and here we go.
There he is.
Ron. He's showing up. He's getting there. Pyle, how was your week?
Buffering.
Ron is a buffer.
Hey, there's a Ron.
Woo!
So my weekend has been full of thrills and chills and spills and everything. And I was a very angry person over the weekend. I could have used a padded cell. Just saying. It's okay. But you know what? Things go on. Things are better. And now we are being threatened with a whole bunch of terrible and bad weather. Could be as bad as the terrible movie we watched. I don't know.
Oh, this movie. I've done
It's
this before.
special.
UncleNecRo and I did this review back on his Movies Plus Beer podcast a couple of years ago, and we did it again. I had a notebook with like 10 pages of why did they do this? Why the hell did they do this? What is wrong with this thing and such? So, but we'll get into that in a moment. Ron, welcome to Monday. You're kind of frozen. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, we're just wondering how is it going? What you been up
Either
to?
that or he's acting like a statue just to fuck with us. I mean, mess with us.
Could be.
No,
Oh,
we played that warning. We can say that word.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And anybody out there who's seen Mandy the Haunted Doll, please feel free to chime in here.
And chime in here if you haven't seen the movie and you want to watch it. Because
We will fix that.
And then there was 4.
We did
So
it for you.
Yeah.
I want to squirrel for just 2 seconds. I found out over the weekend, thanks to a mom, that you can actually dye eggs with Cool Whip and food coloring.
Oh, is
I
this
did
what
not
this
know
picture
that.
is? That is interesting.
Okay, now I'm done
My
squirreling.
feet are in the picture.
I did the thing where I would put rubber bands around them and then I would dip them in different sides with the spoon and you have to sit there and hold it very carefully and then make them plaid. That was my fun thing.
Yeah, but my kids have a
Oh.
very different form of ADHD and they didn't want to do that.
My wife surprised me, amazed me, and confused me all in a 3-second span.
They do that.
She cannot go to holidays without her aunt's deviled eggs. And so as we are getting bedded down last night, and I told her, I said, I love you, and she farted, and the fart smelled like the deviled eggs, and she makes the comment, it makes me hungry for deviled eggs now. So yeah, there you go. Welcome to the Tomb of the Terrible, if you haven't guessed.
May the power of Febreze repel it. May the power of Febreze repel it.
Could not help it.
Hey James, I hope everything's going okay. We won't
But
I'll get back to that. Sorry.
So that makes me go into my own Easter egg story, different one. When we would dye them, it was always you end up with the last egg and you dip it into every single one of the colors and it ends up that one specific shade. It in our family it is called baby shit green. And anybody
I think in every
okay, so what she just did was she took your story and mixed it with mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had baby shit green everybody had one of their own eggs that was baby shit green at the end. And so yeah. Oh, wait. Oh, damn it.
It's alive.
It's a run.
It is run.
Again.
It's moving.
I
It's
agree.
kind of ridiculous.
Yes, deviled eggs are good. And why do we not make them more often? It's not like you have to have an event to make deviled eggs. You just have to have some mayo and mustard, a little bit of paprika.
I just started randomly making them as a side because I'm like, I want deviled eggs. And then everybody else was like, yes, I want them too.
I can't really do boiled eggs because I like boiled eggs. It doesn't like anyone else when I eat boiled eggs.
Yeah, I like to order them at restaurants, but only not to be a dick about it. But if I'm getting a breakfast and I'm not feeling like an egg, like at a Village Inn or something where they also do Cobb salads, so they have boiled eggs. I will order a boiled egg. And there was a while I was doing this, and I asked for a to-go box, and they gave me a full meal-sized to-go box for a boiled egg, and I was like. I mean, you have boxes for pie slices. Wouldn't that maybe work a little bit better than... Okay, I mean, what do I know? Ron, how have you been? Welcome to Monday.
Well, computer issues aside, the weather has been on and off crazy here with periodic storms and hail, and it's been sunny, it's been windy, it's been cold, it's been warm. Ohio weather is strange, man. And they're calling for severe thunderstorms tomorrow with more hail and an inch of snow on Wednesday. So I don't know what the hell is going on in Ohio right now.
So crack addict bipolar. Gotcha.
All right.
Ohio
Yeah,
is the Buckeye.
we had like it's 70 degrees and it's gonna snow. Like, okay, Nebraska.
I tried watching Mandy again this morning before I started work, and
Why?
my opinion of it still has not changed. I still don't care for the movie. Sorry to say. No disrespect to the people that made the movie or the people that acted in the movie or anything like that. It was not good.
Okay, so a quick summary here. I'll deliver a quick summary of the movie. I'm kind of trying to be Uncle Necro tonight, only I am not as prepared. But there is a girl who is locked up in a church by some prankster young boys that is being fixed, and it's the middle of winter, and she dies holding her doll. So her soul inhabits the doll, and it gets passed down through families, and it kills people. And we start off with the doll killing somebody who is supposed to be babysitting it. Then we jump to a girl being released from prison and her sister and her boyfriend coming to pick her up, like, oh, we got one more job and then we can all retire and go off to Italy because you want to go to Italy. And they're like, okay. So she's just like, you got to go in and well, she's kind of like, I just got out of prison and you're going to send me on this job, but like, it's a babysitting job. You go in and you're Jesse for this babysitting job, and then we're gonna just come in and clean the place out, and you don't have to worry about it. Don't worry about the kid or anything. We'll take care of everything, and then we'll go. And it's like, okay. So they go to babysit, and of course, haunted doll shit happens, and nobody believes that a doll's haunted until the haunted doll attacks them, and yeah, and so that's basically what the movie is about, and but there are so many bad things in it that I just can't even get. My first bad thing about it, and this is from the very beginning, it shows the brief scene. It's 12 minutes before we get into the credit to have the prelude of this girl who had babysat before, who's like got this woman like threatening her to call the police on her if she keeps trying to harass her into babysitting before they just drop Mandy off to her. Um, there's a lot of driving in this movie, and so they have a lot of stock footage of just like watching the road go, but it's not like above road shots like you get in a lot of movies. This is just like from bumper level, you're seeing the street. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but it bugged me so much that it's like, okay, you see the arrows turning the way that you would, but then they're driving on the wrong way of the street because the arrows that are like pointing on which ways to turn are going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, that bugged the shit out of me too.
Did you catch that too? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, if you couldn't you just reverse that, just flip it over, or not use that shot for 10 seconds worth of different road footage. But and the weirdest part about it is this all takes place in town.
Yeah.
They have this haunted manor house, and it's like, no, it's not a manor house. It is a terrace house, or what we call townhouses, where they're all connected.
Mm-hmm.
So another little subtle point is, why, how does nobody hear what's going on from the houses on each side? Are they just both unoccupied?
Pretty
And
much.
it was just really weird. Like, this is the house that we first see. And with these people saying like, oh, she's this rich woman, it's very full of things that we want. We've scoped it out. We're going to rob her. Because this is the kind of house you want to rob. Of course. Note the cobwebs on the candelabra, or whatever you want to call that thing. Yeah, she can serve a perfectly fine cup of tea, and she has some nice whiskey and stuff, but there's paper boarded up over all of the windows in the middle of town in this house, and she just likes to have cobwebs on her table for some reason. But we'll get into more pictures later. Oh, one last picture before I jump in and ask you guys about stuff. This is the actual Mandy that we see. So when she does get invited to babysit, they're like, "Oh, don't let Mandy wake up and stuff." And here's an intercom for Mandy, and so and she goes looking and thinks like, "Oh God, the kid's escaped." No, the kid's just actually a fucking doll. So I'm gonna stop now and pass it on over to you guys. I think I did my bit of an intro.
I had
You pretty much summed it up.
I had one blaring issue at the start. It's one of the first plot holes I freaking noticed. And
Just
there
one?
are a lot
Okay.
of them in this movie. The fact that at the beginning, the girl, the first couple that get taken out by this doll, the babysitter explains that the lady found this doll in an estate sale as she's telling the urban legend, and how when the lady got mad at her at the end of the last babysitting job, that's when she cracked the doll's face. But later on, the old lady says that the doll's been passed down in her family through generations.
Mm-hmm.
The first girl makes it sound like that this doll just randomly appears every so many generations. It just so happened to find its way into this lady's collection.
Yeah, and nothing about who the estate sale was from or anything. Like,
Yeah.
oh, it had been in the possession of such and such family until this person bought it. Because people are
They're
keeping
like,
track of it on the internet, but they don't know.
yeah, it's like halfway through the movie, like, we're going to change up what we said at the beginning of the movie. They're not going to notice.
Those guys, we can't get them back. They already took the plane ride home, so yeah, just leave it. Yeah, we're gonna change the entire origin story real quick here.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Just the origin story of the doll. No big deal.
Yeah.
That's the only plot hole that you have. That's
No,
the only one.
there are a lot of them in this movie.
You think?
Well,
Yes.
one of my favorite things is they did use a little bit of stop motion stuff, but you could tell it was stop motion because it went like this.
Yeah.
But there was no attempt to hide, like when the doll's moving behind a table or something, that it's just a hand moving the doll, like somebody's just crouched down there doing it. There was no attempt at any special effects, really. Like, I mean, other than a little bit of latex blood and, I mean,
Yeah.
injuries and such. But
sadly enough, the fake blood I've seen worse is actually somewhat better in this movie than I have seen in others. So I gotta give them a point for that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's not a big point, but yeah.
I feel like I'm just reserving all of my comments here because I have a whole long laundry list of shit that I found wrong with this movie that serves for my dislike of it, but I'm waiting to hear what everybody else thinks.
Rose, I'm perfectly happy finding out now what you have to say.
Go for it.
Yes, please share. I might have some supporting photos for it. I have a couple.
I want Ron to open up the can.
Bring
Killer
it.
Sofa.
No, that was a good movie. We like Killer Sofa. Let's
He
leave
is here
that
to
one
judge
alone.
us all now.
You know, I did watch Killer Sofa, and I'm glad I watched that one. So did Poison. Little Poison watched this movie, and she even said, "Dad." I said, "Yeah," and she goes, "That doll, it's not moving by itself. There's someone's hand." I said, "What?" And she goes, "Right there." And then she goes, "Do the thing where you watch it again." You mean rewind? Yeah. Right there. There's a hand. So if the 5-year-old found it,
God.
She's about ready to turn 6. I'll give you credit. But still.
I don't consider myself the greatest writer in the world, but I'd like to think that I know some things. And by watching this movie, this is not how you write a movie. There's so much wrong with the writing in this movie. So let's begin at the beginning, shall we? This movie has a runtime of 1 hour and 17 minutes. Not even 90 minutes, not even a half an hour. It's 77 minutes.
That we will never get back.
If you take out all of the fluff that they use to pad the runtime, this movie is less than 1 hour long. I would have preferred to watch that. The movie starts out with text saying in some year, Mandy, I think her name was Goodwin or something like that, was locked in a church and froze to death, and her body inhabited her doll. Okay. Why are you telling me this? And then you're going to show me. Show, don't tell. You don't need to tell and then show. You're already starting the movie with showing her being locked into the church. Now, my question is, what was it about this church that this is the place where her body or her soul decided to inhabit the doll, and why she became evil? It's a church. You would think it's sacred ground. It's holy. If anything, there should be angels, not demonic possession of dolls. What is up with that? All right, so rather than stopping it with her freezing to death in the church, why not show me how her soul inhabited the doll and why? What was the process there? At least with movies like The Nun, we get to see that kind of stuff. We get a backstory on it. There's nothing to explain this. I don't get it. And then we move. It says, okay, 3 weeks ago, I don't need the text. I don't care. And then it shows a couple getting it on, and she explains that she's a babysitter. Somebody sends her this doll. Why? What did she do to piss somebody off that they're going to get revenge by sending her this doll? She said that she didn't want to babysit for this lady anymore. I'm assuming that the lady in question is the one that owns the house that we see in the movie where that it takes, care of Mandy as the doll. Is she the one that sent the doll to them? Okay, if that's the case, how did she get the doll back for the movie to happen after that fact? Because the doll killed the two people. We don't know their backstory. We don't know who they were. We don't know why. This is random fluff. If you're going to start the movie, start it with the scene in the church explaining how Mandy's soul got into the doll, then start the story. I don't need all the extra fluff. Just go into this girl's being released from prison. She goes into the house, the babysitting job, and all of that. That's where the story starts. Let's get on with it. Let's go into that. What is with the 20 minutes worth of road footage? It has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. You could completely skip right through that and show your titles as they're going through explaining the job to Jessie, Amber, I think her name was, and how she gets into the babysitting position to begin with. I don't need 20 minutes of road footage that leads to nothing.
Yeah.
All right, so fine. Once we get into the actual core of the movie, that's okay. I'm all right with that, except for the fact that this movie is rated PG-13. It shows absolutely no kills on scene. All of the violence is implied. You see the gore, blood, like with the neck being slit and all of that stuff, but you see absolutely no violence, no kills, no nothing. Give me something to make this worth my while to watch it. It was very boring. It was very slow paced. There was so much more they could have done with it to make this movie way more interesting. Okay, but all of that aside, then we finally get to the resolution of our story with Amber escaping, and then you see the doll in the back seat of the car. How did the doll get there?
Dun, dun, dun.
No idea. You think, the doll is mourning the loss of its mother or caretaker or whatever the hell she is, of the old lady, and then she shows up in the car. All right, it's a supernatural doll, but you see the doll move around. It's not like the doll can teleport. She does actually move from place to place. So how did she get in the back seat of the car that quickly?
I do believe she does teleport at some points in times, because otherwise there's no way she could get, like with Chucky, which was good doll movies, you know, you hear his feet pitter patter and he's limited by different things. He has to overcome stuff. But Mandy just kind of like she was in her bedroom and then she was in the attic. And there's no
And then
way
you get
that
another 15, 20 minutes at the end of the movie of the two ladies that are moving into the ranch house or whatever, and they find the doll in the ranch house, and then they say she's got a new home, and the movie ends on that. I don't need that either. Strike that. It's not pertinent to the movie because we've already resolved our plot. All you're doing is setting up for sequel, but you've already done that because you show the doll in the back seat of the car, so we know that something else is going to happen after this. I don't need 20 minutes of another storyline of people that I don't even know who they are, what their names are, what they're doing, or how they're related to the plot. I don't need all of that. Just end it with the doll in the back seat of the car. Save the rest of it for the sequel if you end up doing one.
Ron, I love you.
This movie is shit. It's not good.
Do you feel better?
Like I said, I had a long laundry list of shit that was wrong with this movie. I just did not care for it.
And Mike, Mandy the Haunted Doll is the name of the movie in which we are reviewing.
Yes. But they took you away, oh Mandy. When you came and you slayed with.
So I want to say after that whole thing, Ron, welcome to Padded South.
Right? This is me venting.
I've never seen you.
I prefer to watch Velocipaster over this.
Well, that had Kung Fu. That spoke to you.
Yeah. Lamageddon was even better than this.
I disagree. I totally disagree.
On which part?
The Lamageddon part.
Okay.
I don't know. Lamageddon was kind of a fun
Lamageddon.
movie. It was up there with Velocipaster. I have to give it some credit.
So I do want to point out that Poison started watching with me, this and that, and she knew exactly that something was going to jump from the sheet. And she goes, "What was it?" I said, "It was a sheet." She goes, "He died from a sheet?"
Yeah.
Yes.
5-year-old. Poison is 5. Okay?
And,
So
and the sheet is covering
Almost
something
6.
that is big enough. The doll is this big.
Yeah.
right.
It's way larger
The
than a
sheet was
doll.
covering something that
Right.
was the size of his
So-
girlfriend.
So she was absolutely like, it made me jump, but what did it? I said, I don't know. And she goes, okay. And then she goes, I'll be right back. I said, okay. So we start going down this whole winding road thing that you said. And she comes back and she goes, wow. I said, what? And she goes, are we watching the same thing? I said, yes. And she goes, okay. And then she leaves and she comes back and it's still winding road. And she goes, where's the doll? I know. You have a 5-year-old criticizing and I took off of Tubi. There was 2 of them. That was the PG-13 and the mature one. And we went with the mature. Yeah, there on Tubi, I found 2 of them on there. One was the PG and one was the MA.
I found 2, but one of them was Spanish and the other was English. So
Yeah, same here.
I just picked the MA because I thought it was going to be a bigger thing. I didn't know that there was English to Spanish. My bad. I picked the right one because I could understand.
So I got a couple shots here for you guys.
Go for it.
Yeah, I showed you how she got in the house, and I did lighten these. All of the movie stuff was dark, so I went through and put on Photor and lightened them up a little bit so you guys can actually see what's going on in some of the shots. But like this here, they're going to sell the stuff.
That's
that they
money,
want to.
really?
Yeah. They're gonna sell. This is something that bugged me the shit out of me the first time I watched it. They're supposed to rob this house and sell it to this woman Diane, And this is the case of money she brings, which is a couple, it's not English, or it's not English, it's not American money, but you can easily tell that that is paper. And those little tiny rolls as well, it's like, oh, there's a whole 2 bills inside of that one. And I was thinking, like, well, what the fuck? And then you go, oh, this is the kind of shit that she's buying from them, though. Once again, jeweler's loop to examine kitchen kitsch stuff. So if you're going to be buying shit like this from somebody, as well as all of the costume jewelry that they're flinging around, like, oh, ropes and ropes of pearls that are this big and are obviously fake, and a bunch of other stuff that they're putting on that is obviously fake. Okay, yeah, I can see why you would pay them in pretend money and paper.
So, who has ever dealt with a person that wants to buy things from you, that knows that you are stealing things from a house, and they want to come to the same location that you're at?
Yeah, okay, you pack up the house and I will pay you at the house to pick up the stuff so that my fingerprints can be there too, and my car can be on the CCTV. But well,
that is as bad as someone calling 911 and saying, I would like to report a robbery because someone just stole my drugs. I mean, legitly.
The person that you're
I know.
The person that you're selling the stuff to is called a fence. They act basically as a barrier between you and whoever the end user of the end buyer of this stuff is going to be. They're basically a fence between you and the other person. So, no, it's not common practice for a fence to get involved in the actual robbery of the place. They thrive. Their business is successful because they maintain their anonymity. You're not supposed to know who they are.
But you actually
showing up at the house and making her presence known, she's just as culpable as the rest of them in terms of the robbery.
But the fence was necessary because when they were upstairs and Neil's up in the attic dead, because he
didn't
went
like
in the
him
attic
anyway. No love
attic.
lost.
Yeah. The fence shows up and is like, where are you guys? I'm in the house, because nobody locks the fucking door at this place either. They leave the front door not just unlocked, but open. It just swings all the time. And she uses the baby monitor to say, oh, where's Neil? Oh, is he the third person there? So there's this little figure in the back you guys can see.
Yeah.
That is way larger than Mandy. And Mandy also is strawberry blonde with a white dress. We are told this specifically.
And that's a person in a black morph suit.
That's just hanging out in the background. And never do we have any other reference to that again. There's no like shadows moving around or anything else. That just was something to put in there because somebody showed up on set with a hoodie or something that day. And so Mandy has kidnapped them. And oh, what are we doing? Why are we all up here in the attic? It's my tea party. There's the dead fence, by the way. And eventually, Mommy comes home and hears much screaming and is like, oh, and they're like, oh, please, please, help us, let us go. Mommy, look in the bag at what they were trying to do. You tried to steal from me? Oh, Mommy gets in on it. And, Mommy comes at him with a hammer because she's decided that the little doll, I had some pictures of other dolls and some of the kitschy shit that was in the house, but I took it out. But she wants Amber to be her other new friend and join the rest of the dolls on the shelves that go everywhere, because when she picks up the little one of the little boy dolls, it flashes her back yet again to the origin story, the mostly used origin story of her being locked up in the church. But yeah, and I think one of the other fun things was at the very end, she goes up, Amber does, and there's some weird unresolved thing that they never talk about with Amber and Carly, where it was like, you didn't desert me like Mom did us, and yeah, and you raised me, and but they never
Yeah, that was
say what
completely
happened with the
random.
mom.
Just I suppose it's act like character development for characters in order to make us feel some kind of empathy for them, which I totally didn't. Uh, I mean, let's be honest. Amber was the most developed character in the entire movie because she's the only one that didn't actually want to be there since she just got out of prison. But she's such a weak-minded individual that she gave in to him just like that. No,
Emotional damage.
yeah, pretty much. And it's just like
Yeah,
she's the only one that
I mean,
sounds sincere when she apologizes for stealing the stuff. And I don't know, it's just the mom with the hammer. How hard is it to actually hit somebody across the head with a hammer? And she flubs
pretty
that
hard
up.
when you're her. And then she gets hit in the face with a door and trips, and then lays on the floor sobbing for like 20 minutes because it gives Amber enough time to go downstairs, hear Carly screaming, run back upstairs, get up there, get her stabilized, and walk slowly down the stairs while she's laying there crying, and they're saying she's going to hear us like 5 feet from her. Shush, shush, she'll hear us. It's okay, be quiet. And then they finally get downstairs, and then she comes at him again. But when they finally, so Neil, who we don't give a shit about, has been killed. Diane, who was there to give them shitty money, has been killed. And Carly, the sister, who we don't know why she had to take care of Amber because they don't say why the mom left. They could have even just said, yeah, when mom left us for drugs, or, something
When
like
mom
that.
died or something,
Yeah, just anything to let us know. She goes to get Carly. They get almost all the way out the door, and she's like, did you get the money? You're almost dead and can barely be picked up.
Carly
Like,
dies by her own greed.
Yeah, to go get the money. And then Amber, of course, is like, well, since she died for it and I'm fucked, I guess I'll take the money, and goes out. And then, yes, we get to see she throws the money in the car, and
Okay, so she puts the money in the
doll
back
was there.
seat on the driver's side. Did she not see
No,
the doll there at the time?
She
Or
put it
was
in
the
the
doll not there when she put the money in the back seat of the car? Because only a
put it in
couple
the
of
front
seconds
seat.
passed between putting the money in the car and her getting in the driver's seat. Where did the doll come from?
She put it in the front seat. They drive on the other side of the road, so it was reversed. But she
Well,
put it
I'm
in the
aware
front
of that,
seat.
but
Oh,
it looked like she put it in the back seat of the car on the driver's side, or not the driver's, the passenger side.
I'm pretty sure she put it in the front seat. But either way, see, Mandy can teleport.
I guess.
Because I don't know, but when we go to when it cuts to the brand new ending, because we need to see where, like, when it cuts to the sequel, I guess, because it's a 20-minute sequel, as you were saying, we go to, and I even have things to pick apart in just that 20 minutes that they gave us. Okay, so mom and daughter, can't remember their names, are out on this
Do we even
farm.
have them?
Look at all these animals that you can take care of, and all these wonderful things, because your baby died. So we're going to have a new beginning here on Grandpa's farm. And they go out into a barn, and they're looking around, and like they find Mandy somehow inside of a wooden shed, like an old rotted wooden thing in the barn. So how in the fuck Amber got her there, or whatever got her there? But they're
Yeah,
like,
what
God, Grandpa
happened in
really
the
didn't keep.
time from her being in the back seat of Amber's car to her
That-
showing up at this farmhouse? How much time has passed? You
That
give
is
us 3 weeks ago at the beginning of the movie between the death of the first couple and the storyline, but you don't tell us how much time has passed between the farmhouse and the actual story itself. I got no idea what the hell is going on here.
that is
Well,
the
and when they
second
pull,
plot. Oh, sorry.
I just want to. So they pull her out, and the mom's like, "That's an ugly doll," like pointing her on the face, and the barn door like slams shut. And they're complaining about how Grandpa didn't maintain his farm very well because all these. Where the fuck are all the animals doing out there then? If he can't maintain his barn, how do they have all these animals, and how is there all of this livestock to take care of if Grandpa's been dead and nobody's been maintaining the place for them? And it's also bright white shine. The girl goes to sleep for some reason in her day clothes, like her sweater, because they didn't want to pay for a pair of pajamas or have her bring some from home or something, because that would take too long. But yeah. So sorry, go ahead, Josh. You were saying that you had a problem with that as well.
That led me to the second major plot hole. I say second major plot hole because there was all the other little ones in the movie. The fact that the only hint on how Mandy got to this house is the daughter finds the other girl's keys in a bucket in the barn before she finds the doll. She finds a set of keys.
Oh, I just thought those were random barn keys.
Could have been Amber's keys. Maybe she's using the barn to hide out or something. I don't know. We're trying to connect shit that makes no sense here.
The thing is, it would have made a whole lot more sense and made it a little bit better if instead of the whole 3 month later thing and then go to the barn. They had it end where the doll was in the back of the car. If they wanted to do the barn thing, they should have had the doll. They should have had her show up at the farm and open up the trunk, and there's the doll.
Yeah.
If not, they could have just did that little 3 year later thing and had the mom and sister show up to the new house since everybody's dead in there anyway, including the mom. They buy the new apartment that's open and find the doll there. It will save save money in the filmmaking process. You're reusing the same damn location anyway. You don't have to come up with this barn or figure out how you move the doll across to the country.
My other thing about the ending was that they set it up so, okay, we've come to have this brand new start because you lost your child as a baby. And so it's like, and she finds the doll, the recently, the mother who recently lost her child, and shows it to her mom, who is like, oh, that's ugly. And then the girl hears all the giggling and stuff. And so you think like, oh, she's going to bond with the doll. But, and big spoilers, guys, and like, because you're really going to fucking want to watch this. She goes out in the hallway and she keeps hearing the giggling stuff, and she sees this figure rocking, and it's her mom, obviously, but she's found a new home. Mandy is fucking nursing blood from the older woman. I mean, at least have the younger woman bond with the doll, because it would make sense. Like, it's in her mind, maybe it's taking the place of the baby. But no, it's now Mandy not only like has bonded with new people, but she chose the wrong one, in my opinion, and apparently nurses and needs blood, which is a brand new facet about this doll that we did not know before. So it
and don't necessarily need to know, because that's all kind of shit you could have put in the sequel rather than padding your runtime in this movie.
Yeah.
Well, it was like we got 4 movies in one. We got
Good night, Mike.
Right.
That's like
we got the prequel and the sequel and the origin story, the wrong origin story and the right origin story. Sorry.
They tried to do the 3 separate stories and none of them meshed well together.
Yeah.
I really do think they were just trying to pad their runtime so that they could get a feature-length movie out of it So they were just putting whatever they could think of in there in order to get it over an hour long to make it feature length. That's the only reason I could see why they have all of this extraneous fluff in there that doesn't really pertain to the actual story.
Yeah, and Ron, you were frozen up when we were talking about it, but with the road footage that there was so fucking much of, that you'd think you're going out in the country. Oh no, but there were even like they were going the wrong way on some of it. Like you'd see the tornadoes going from the direction that you were at, but then you would see the tornadoes coming at you, like turning away from you. So I don't know where they got this footage from, but
Well, they could have completely just taken all of that road footage out because it doesn't, do anything for the storyline. It's just B-roll so that they can put their credits over it. But they could have put their credits over the actual story itself.
Yeah.
By the time they finished the credits, the movie would be half over.
They didn't even start them until over 12 minutes in.
I know.
That's when they started the credit. I was like, oh, seriously? Now we get to figure out what it is. Okay.
So if they really wanted to make this movie better, and I think that it is possible because, I mean, it's an okay plot line. It's an okay storyline. I'm not going to diss that because people work hard on making this movie. If it's a project, a passion project that they believe in, that's fine. Some things I can let slide, like the crappy bag of money, not looking real, because this is supposed to be low budget, indie. You're making things on a shoestring budget and with your credit card, so you're going to find low tech solutions for the problems that present themselves in the movie. So, printing out some money and wrapping it up on a piece of paper and putting it in a bag just to give the impression that it's a bag full of money. Okay, that's fine. I can get by that. All the fake jewelry and stuff like that they're supposed to be robbing, that's fine too. You don't really have a big budget to actually get some decent looking jewelry, and it doesn't really matter anyway. It's just there to give you an impression of what the idea is supposed to be. I can get by that because it's a low budget movie. But if you wanted to make this a better movie, take all of that fluff out of it. Take off the beginning part, take off the road part, take off the end part. Just give me the middle part with the girl going to the house to do the babysitting job. You could even cut that down for some time just because you have like a lot of time that passes with the mom laying on the floor sobbing or whatever. I guess she's supposed to be unconscious or something. I don't know. Or they're bickering about getting the money and going back upstairs or trying to get out of the house and all that. There's a lot of parts in this movie that you could cut down for time and probably take out a lot of dialogue and just leave it with the core stuff. Maybe you come down to about a 45-minute runtime, which would be fine. Then include that in an anthology movie of other short stories. It would have worked way better because now you've got self-contained stories on both sides of it that would have bolstered this one. Might not have been the stronger story, but it still would have been decent because you're watching two other stories on each side of it. Not trying to make a whole anthology in one movie out of the same storyline. It didn't work. But if you just cut this one down, take all the fluff out of it, you could include it in an anthology movie with other stories, and it would have been perfectly fine.
And I think even with the money and certain things like that, I would have been happier if they just left the case closed.
Yeah.
We assume there is money in there.
Yeah.
I don't need to see shitty money. Just let me assume that there's real money.
Yeah, exactly.
And this thing too, with the black figure in the background that.
Well, I can even let that one slide because we know that Mandy is supposed to be a spirit that's possessing the doll. And if she has the ability to teleport or do supernatural things, then it's possible that, that could be her spirit manifesting itself on the camera somehow. So I can explain that away without it being, kitschy.
Because they do it in other horror movies, spiritual horror movies like that a lot.
again, it's low-tech solution to a problem that presents itself when you're filming the movie. And
Right.
that's fine. I can get by that. It doesn't bother me nearly as much as some of the other shit.
I would have liked to have seen it happen again, though. Like, at least have it in
Yeah.
the background, like some shadow go by so that it
Like
explains
in a
why it's
mirror,
there more
like
than...
it passing by a mirror or something.
Yeah.
I expected
so
it
it
in
happens
that
more
little
than once.
first segment, it pop up behind her while she was fixing
I mean, they
herself
do
in the
spend a
mirror
great
after
deal
the
of time on
shower.
Amber actually taking a bath in this house. That would have been a
Yeah.
perfect scene for it to manifest itself in the bathroom.
Yeah.
What
Right.
you doing? Oh, I went to babysit. What's the first thing you do when you go to babysit? Oh, I take a bath.
Take a bubble bath with rose petals and lavender
You
and
know?
shit. That's exactly what I do.
Well, I was
That's what I do when I
thinking,
babysit.
as she's looking at the monitor, maybe it would be good the first time that she realizes the monitor, she's hearing the laughing and this and that. Maybe that would have been nice to have it manifest then. That way she thought that, she was actually looking at this girl when she got there and she couldn't find her. Then it would be like, okay, calling the family. Oh, well, she's in bed. She should be in bed. This is what she looks like. And she's looking down at the doll going, okay, well, this woman's cracked out and maybe I didn't see what I thought I seen. That would have been a little bit better.
Okay, so
Yeah, she
on a
completely forgets
side
about the
note,
video.
go ahead, Duff.
Oh, Amber, the mother gives her, like, this is the audio monitor and this is the video monitor.
Right.
And she never uses the video monitor. She just is constantly like, oh, I hear something. I'm just going to walk around with this thing like it's a phone, which isn't how they work. But
Yeah, you see the video monitor used the whole.
It's not a walkie-talkie. It's only a one-way monitor.
Yeah.
So on a side note here, even in regards to the bath, you say, is that the first thing you do when you go babysit? Well, Amber did just get released from prison, but we don't know what she was in prison for. It's never stated. We don't even know how long she was in prison for. So, I mean, I could even let the bath slide because you just get out of prison and you go immediately into a job. You're probably going to want a bath.
Well, she had time to paint her toenails because you noticed that in the bath. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Just so many.
I'm trying to make excuses so I'm not feeling like I'm nitpicking on every single thing in this movie, and I'm trying to be fair, but at the same time, it's just what were they thinking?
The thing is that this movie tried to take itself seriously. We've seen other movies where it's just like, okay, we're gonna let this be, funny. But this movie really tried to be a serious horror movie, and it had all these holes in it that could easily have been either just not made to begin with or covered up by an extra 2 sentences. So
what kind of meeting was the mom going to that you would leave that late and not get home until midnight?
Well, she was wearing evening clothes, so it could have been anything. It could have been a party or, we don't know what she did for a living, so
I just there was that gap too, Usually it says, oh, I have a business meeting or I have a Christmas party or it gives you a little more detail into why the parent is leaving versus, oh, I've got to go and I got to meet, I just, me not nitpicking as much as I possibly could have. I mean, it was just some of the things I was looking at, some of the things just glided and then it broke down and it was broken. And then there's other parts that just absolutely wasn't even on track for anything.
Here's another kicker. The whole thing is she was supposed to call them an hour after the mom left for them to come sack the house.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
The mom leaves. She has enough time to go, take a bath, soak for a while, get out, apparently fall asleep on the couch, and
Yeah.
then call them early freaking out?
Yeah.
How
And if
long
you
are their
notice,
fucking hours?
she
3
if you notice
days?
if you notice on the phone,
SpongeBob time.
she gets thrown
3
out a
hours
window
later.
before the tea party, and her phone shows it's like 11:42 p.m. or something like that. So that at least shows like why the mom is showing up when they're at the tea party.
Yeah.
Why she gets back. But she pulls up and is in this panic because she sees the light on in the attic, which is Mandy's playroom and stuff. Doesn't really notice the car that's blocking her driveway.
No.
But but yeah, runs up and it's all, Mandy, what have you done? And she was totally blaming Mandy until she told her to look in the and just like helping them all out until she saw that they
Right.
were robbing her. And then she's like, okay, now I'm going to kill you. But what
Do
was
we
she
ever
going
see
to do
Mandy's
anyway?
hands? Do we ever see the doll's hands?
At
When
one,
she's
yes.
suckling.
At no, also in the tea party, I believe. Well, there's
Right
a
there.
scene in the tea party where she goes under, where she like waves, but like I said, it's very stop motion. And when she slashes at Carly's ankle, Achilles heel, or
I'm
Achilles
just
tendon.
wondering how strong this damn doll is to do the things that she's doing, because even what, like 11, 12-year-old girl is not going to have the strength of an adult to do some of the things that she's doing. My main point of this is that when Amber takes a flying leap out of the window and lands in the backyard or whatever, she has the opportunity there that she could run, maybe go get the cops or something, but she passes out. And then when she wakes up, she's in the attic with all the dead bodies and the doll. My question is,
Yeah.
how the hell did Mandy get her to the attic? How strong is this fucking doll?
Portals, dude. Portals. Teleportational doll. She's like a fucking house elf. She's like,
I mean, I guess
bam!
she's supernatural. She can do whatever the hell she wants, but even Chucky had limitations.
That's what I'm saying. Chucky at least had to overcome these things. She did not, because, and then we did get a somewhat better version of a similar concept. And it wasn't the exact same movie, but when they brought up when we got The Boy a little while a couple of years later, we love you too. That was at least, it was like you're babysitting a doll again, but and it didn't have the same kind of backstory and everything, but I think that one was a bit stronger of a movie, at least, and it didn't involve as many other people. There were other people, but not the same kind of thing. But yeah,
I mean, at least
I
with Megan, Megan was kind of a android style doll, so that would explain her strength. I can get behind that. She's more or less a robot, but this one is just a porcelain doll that's inhabited by the spirit of a small girl, but I don't know why this girl is so damn evil, other than
she was murdered by
she obviously got revenge on the bullies that locked her in the church, because you see them in the little miniature doll formats that Amber touches and has the flashback. So if she accomplished her getting revenge on these boys, then would her spirit not be at rest at that point? Why is she still active?
because she wants to make all the friends. Because she's why doesn't anyone ever want to be my friend? Because you're a fucking
Because
doll.
you're a psychopathic
You're
doll. You're homicidal. Nobody wants to be your friend because you want to kill people. Well, I kill people and I eat hands. That's two things. What's wrong with you, Carl?
I have the perfect answer for everything that we have been absolutely waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And it answers everything that all of our questions have been. All right?
Tell me.
It is like a little Jedi. She is part of the Sith. She's evil. She can teleport. She can lift things that she shouldn't be able to. That's where I'm going. It's all I can say right there.
Okay. All right. On this note, before we read off the rest of stuff, I'm going to play. We actually went longer than we usually do. I'm going to throw up a couple ads real quick, and then we will move on to rating it, talking about the reviews, and getting ready for next week or next 2 weeks. Next show's movie. So we will be right back, folks.
Greetings and shabibans. We are the Retro Redoctopus Cephala Podcast, a long-form bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
Well, that sounds good, but I don't know what all those words mean.
I think what Parasite seems trying to say is that on Retro Redoctopus, we explore a range of retro goodness, from toys, video games, and movies, to cartoons, and even snacks and school lunches.
Oh.
And we do it all with a positive spin, a slew of killer guests, and some very adult language.
And you know what else is cool?
No.
This crazy show is part of the Dorking Podcast Network with new episodes every Tentacle Tuesday.
What's that?
And if waiting 2 weeks for a new episode gives you a sad, know that we drop bonus episodes all the time, like the off-format Crow's Nest and an interview series we call The Brig.
You can listen to Retro Redoctopus on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any app that's cool enough to carry the only show that celebrates all the things that make growing up awesome.
That one's so pretty. I like that one.
I really like that Fake-Or commercial. I think Raz did a good job with that one.
Oh yeah, and we're all in it.
Except Pyle, because you don't have a book
I
out.
found
yet.
her. We're working on Piles. We're
Working
gonna
on
do
Piles.
something soon.
Well,
Come
now he
back,
has a sad.
Pyle.
He went off camera.
Don't have a sad.
No.
We don't want you to have sad.
If it gives you a sad, I love that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Friday, do you have some of the 5-star reviews for us?
I have as many of them as
You mean
I can
this thing
find
actually
on
got
Amazon.
5-star reviews? That's surprising.
There's one that the only thing it says is just thank you.
For what? Wasting my time?
I don't know, but that's all it says is thank you.
Emotional damage.
Uh-huh.
The next one is okay.
Okay.
The fans are very verbose about this one.
And then there's one that's like 3 paragraphs. I like the
Let's hear that
movie.
one.
I like the movie. It kept me entertained the whole time. I'm one who looks for new scary movies or 2 every night. I don't know why it was given bad reviews other than one person said they hate dolls. So I think maybe they just don't like scary doll movies. This one was worth a watch. It definitely has a creepy factor going on. I don't think I ever jumped, but the story was pretty good. Not completely original, but still entertaining. There was no nudity. The gore factor was not overdone. The acting was actually pretty good. There was no pointless arguing like so many B movies have. There was some swearing. They did a good job with the creepy doll making it move and talk, especially for no CGI. I can't complain. If the acting were bad or the movie or the story was bad or anything else, I would say so. Definitely good enough to be this evening's scary movie. There's room for a sequel, which I would love to see. I'm not sure who should get the credits for this movie, but I think they have a future in film. I do not write reviews often anymore, but with the 2 poor reviews that got first, I felt like I needed to write one. I'm glad I took the time to watch it despite the naysayers.
Okay.
But it doesn't say that they were on track when they watched it.
That I will say.
That's right. Square hole.
I will say that is a fair review because they did touch on a lot of points. They say they don't understand why it got negative reviews. If you don't understand why it got negative reviews, go back and watch this entire episode that we're doing right now, and it should explain it pretty well. But that was a fair review, so I'll give credit to the person that wrote that one.
I mean, if it sounded like a person who's very specific in the horror movies they like. No nudity, little to no swearing, stuff like that. So maybe, and you got to admit there are a lot of horror movies these days where there's a lot more of those kind of things involved than there used to be.
Yeah.
But so it's maybe somebody who really likes their PG-13 level or PG level of horror.
That person sounds like they're a person that considered Bambi a horror flick.
Bambi meets Godzilla.
No, I'm just saying Bambi. I'm just saying Bambi.
Godzilla is one of my favorites of all time, and it's like 20 seconds long. So
exactly.
If you haven't seen it, guys, go out and watch it.
It's on YouTube. You can find it pretty easily.
There's even a remastered version. Seriously, that one's a little.
It's
bit
been
longer.
around since the early '80s.
Oh yeah, I think it's even longer than that, but it's crazy. It's cray, folks. So. Okay, Killer Sofa is judging us. God, I love that.
I love that chair.
I'm going to use that forever. And I am judging you as well.
Oh, there you go.
I'd rather have you judge me than the Killer Sofa.
Than a Killer Sofa.
So, she's not going to come kill me at this moment. I'm pretty sure the sofa might think about it more often.
I can beat the sofa.
Dude.
I'll just eat the boiled eggs in the fridge. That sofa cannot survive. I
am more afraid of that sofa than I am Mandy. I will pick up and drop kick that child's plaything down the steps and watch it go smash. The sofa. The sofa. It had bubbles coming out of its mouth at one point in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, as we learned from Bernie, that sofa was heavy as hell and very hard to move around. So I would rather take my chances with the damn doll.
But the sofa could stand itself up.
It could.
And
the sofa could walk itself around too.
And it was
but you've seen the sofa actually move. All right, enough comparing the sofa.
Yes. Okay.
The sofa wins, dang it.
The sofa
pass
wins.
Judgment. Okay, what do we do this out of 5 or out of 10? I can't remember.
We do it out of 10.
We do it out of 10.
Okay, out of 10, and would you recommend it to anyone? Let's start with Friday, and we'll go around.
I'll give it a 2. I'm going to say this. I had more fun with this thing and posting about it in various places than I did watching the movie. No, I don't think I want to share it with anybody.
Okay.
I'd have to give it a 3 on the grounds that with some tweaking and some major cutting, it could be improved. But other than that, yeah, it's a shit show.
Pyle.
So remember, this is me and Poison's rating. And if you cannot entertain a 5-year-old with a doll, it's pretty bad. We're giving it a 1 out of 10. I mean,
Fair.
She was not entertained. She kept on coming back in and going,
"Is it over yet?"
I mean, this is a daughter that loves a good shit show, and
Literally.
she will watch. Yeah, she's watched Monstered over 5 times now, and she keeps on singing number two. There was not a catchy song to save this movie's ass.
No, it's mostly techno minor key music throughout the whole thing, which was very repetitive and sort of blends into the background at a certain point so that you no longer really notice it.
Right.
Special note, guys, we have got the creative team from Monstered coming on for the next Owlite picture show coming up. So
That I'm looking forward to.
Keep your eyes posted for that. So
Keep reminding me because I totally forgot about the show yesterday working on things. Sorry.
You missed a good show yesterday.
I did. And I was like, you know what? I'm not jumping in the middle of it. I totally forgot. That was
a
my bad.
great interview.
I made it for the interview, and then the head injury was like, no, you aren't staring at a screen for any longer. You're going to die. So I missed that part. But Ron, I really want to know your review on this one.
You know, I've been sitting here thinking about that. If we do it on a scale of 10, I feel like a 2 would be too low because in order to be fair, I want to give props to the people that made the movie. If it's a passion project for them or the fact that they put in their hard work and their effort to get the movie made because we know how hard that is. Okay, fine. It's not a great movie, but I'll give them, a B for effort because it's a B movie. So I'm going to give them a 4 just for the fact that it was a passion project and they did succeed in actually getting the movie made. If we're going on a scale of 1 to 5, then I'll give it a 2 precisely for that same reason. It's not a great movie, and no, I would not recommend it.
Wow. That's impressive. I think you're giving it the highest score of anyone here.
I'm trying to be fair to the people that made the movie.
That's understandable. Personally, I am going with a 2 because there were just, and I've seen this multiple times. I've reviewed this. This is more than once for me. And I just picked up more things that I disliked when I watched it again for the second time studiously to pick up on everything. And it was one of those things where I'm like, I wish I had my old notebook so I could just show you things like underlined and magic markered instead of penned and stuff when I was making the notes. But I'm giving it the 2. And however, I will give Ron's review of it, the extended rant there that we had. I'm giving that a good 7.
Dude, I'll give his a 9 out of 10 because that made me feel awesome.
I told you I had some thoughts on this movie. I just wasn't bothering putting all this shit in chat because I knew I'd have my opportunity.
Oh,
that makes
dude,
perfect sense.
I loved your review. It did not make me question whether or not you liked it. It was solid. It brought up all the key points. Yeah, and we can go back and I'm sure we can make Raz give us a fun edit from that. I think we'll have a great time with it. Just being all this going.
Absolutely.
That being said, since I am trying to be fair to the people that made the movie, if there's a possibility that they ever actually see this podcast, which, I don't know, it's highly doubtful, but who knows? Maybe somebody knows somebody that sends it along to them. Please don't take this as me hating the movie out of spite or, just I didn't like it. Please take it as constructive criticism of ways that I think that the movie could be improved because I do think that they have a solid idea, and with some changing and some editing, it could actually be made into a better movie. It's just this was not it. So it feels to me like the rough draft before the final project.
Gotcha. And yes, we do want to say that we have no malicious intent towards anyone. We just
no
found a lot of holes. It just wasn't our thing.
No, and I've sat and watched a lot of terrible movies recently on Tubi, and I just keep on going through, and people say, "Hey, what about this? What about this?" And when I get time, I just do watch terrible movies. And honestly, there are some movies that I cannot even watch completely through. I mean, so me watching it completely through is fair enough that, it could be worse.
Say what you want, but Troll 2 is funny. Let's move to the wheel, shall we?
And Raz did say we got both creators of Monster coming on. So.
Oh, dude. Oh, that's gonna be awesome.
All right.
I feel like my daughter needs to watch that one.
And Troll 2's on the list.
So
sure
it is.
I really hope it comes out to Troll 2 now.
Okay, so oh wait, Amityville Exorcism is on here. So if we get that, we spin again because I'm too lazy to take it off right now. Jenny, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, go.
Come on, Trailer Park.
It's spinning on my screen. Oh, there it goes.
We have Cemetery Man.
That was interesting.
I'm not familiar with that one.
Let me do our check real quick.
Will it to be?
It is not to be.
Oh.
To be or not to be? Not
It
to
is
be.
not to be. So,
dude,
I don't know who put that one up there because I don't know anything about it.
Oh shit!
I did. Okay, what I remember is this guy who works at the cemetery. He had fallen in love with this lady, and he keeps finding her over and over again, and she keeps dying, and it just was really weird. And that's all I remember from when I watched it when I was a kid.
Are we talking about Cemetery Man, a 1994?
Yeah, that's what I came up with. Horror comedy.
Okay. So, you cannot
Let's
find
see.
this on Tubi, but
Something is causing the dead to rise from the graves as flesh-eating zombies and cemetery custodian Francesco Delamonte, Rupert Everett, grows tired of killing them all for the second time. However, the town politicians won't listen to him as Francesco is on his own. One day, he falls for a beautiful woman, Anne Fauci, whose husband has recently died, but their affair is tragically interrupted by zombies, sending Francesco into a tailspin of madness and woe. Whoa. All right, so it's a love story.
with zombies. I always love.
It's Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
Romeo and Juliet and zombies.
There's many reasons why I loved it as a kid.
All right.
My
So,
zombie.
okay.
Hey, Mr. Bananas.
Italy, so known as Della Morte dell'Amore.
All right, so we're gonna do this. Fuck, I'll give it a start. Hey, we're getting ready to sign off. You can find me at Carrie L. Sanders or Carrie Sanders on Facebook. I can't even tell you my name properly. This is how confused I am. Kari, see a crow, looks kind of like this. Then that's me. And all of the rest of my social stuff is listed there. My links, my Delphine links, my Owlite links, my Splash Pages links, my author page links, and everything else. And most of that is handled by Friday, who we will go to next.
Hi! You can find me on Elliott. You can find me on Fakor. You can find me on Friday's Library in the Blue Box. You can find me on Jennifer Elliott, which is my actual author page, because yay, I have published books. And we have a Elliott Menagerie anthology coming out soon. But first, Fae Propaganda is coming out next. So please check those out. And we have wrestling on Wednesday.
Wrestling on Wednesday.
We're wrestling on Wednesday. All right. Chaos, where can we find you?
Find her.
Sitting next to her. That's where we find him.
All right. Pyle, where can we find you?
You can find me a little more than Chaos, apparently. Because you can find me on Facebook at Pyle Hazard. You can find me on TikTok, Pyle Hazard once again. And you can find me here on the Elliott Network with all the great shows that I am wonderfully in. And every other Friday, I will be the host of Chainer's Haunted Secrets.
Awesome possum.
Mats and Monsters.
Ron.
Thank you, Raz, because I just remembered it's this awesome show about wrestling that I love to watch.
Is that what you're talking about? Oh,
Yes.
look at there.
Watch that Wednesday. Okay, continue, guys.
All right, Ron, where can we find you?
You can find me here on Elliott Network. You can find me on Facebook under my author page, Ronald W Gillespie Jr. -author. And you can also find me on TikTok under Wolf Dojo, Wolf Sensei, because when I'm not writing, I do karate. And that is kind of my thing. So I'm not going to make it long-winded tonight. Yeah, just find me there, or you can always just contact Friday and she'll get you in touch with me if you absolutely positively need to get in touch with me. Go buy my book. Go buy their books. Go watch Chainer's Haunted Secrets and learn about the haunt industry, and just go do stuff and be proactive and productive and improve yourself and be a better person, and don't make movies like Mandy.
Man,
Like
this movie really messed you up, didn't it?
Like I said before, I want to find everybody because I am everybody.
Yes.
Yep.
Friday actually is everybody on the network. The rest of us are just possessed by her.
Pretty much, yeah.
Around. Oh,
wait.
And though he's not here
Are you
tonight,
me?
We're all
technically,
Muppets.
We all live in Ron's house. Or Rob's house. Sorry.
Rob's house.
Rob's just been
Rob,
very
we're
busy
talking about
lately.
you again.
This is
I
my
know,
house
it's
right
just
here
like-
behind me. This is where I live right here. It's a padded cell with a door to other dimensions. That's where I live right now.
This is the only time she lets me out from under the stairs.
I believe it.
Toby got a sock.
I got a shirt.
On that note, filling in for Uncle Necro here, I will say if you've been watching for this long, seek help. And everybody have a good night.
There is no help after this.
Well, that's what the padded cell episodes are for. Those are supposed to be our therapy sessions.
We have one of those coming up soon. So, yeah. Good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning.
Good night, everybody.